Okay, let's talk about the breakdowns versus the story game 2 of their Captain's League Slapball tournament. Let's get into the lineups. The story versus Jimmy. Now, the one thing I just want to bring up is that Jimmy actually got the best draft positioning, and I think he really slept on a lot of picks that were very good in a lot of different ways. I think Lucas Diversa, first overall pick, it's like whatever, right? You want a good goalie, good for you. Like it's just a different style, and I'm okay with that, right? But going Joe McFly early, I think was a mistake. I think you could have gotten him in the 4th round or in the 3rd round, right? I think that's a huge mistake here, right? And I think Rob Scirocco is actually really good. And the fact that he went to the final round, he was just a dime in the rough. Jake had such a great draft, right? Dalton Philly, 2nd pick, crushing, right? Dan Rourke, right? Lethal threat, using the right way. And Lou Dab is the diamond in the rough in the last round, right? Just clearly showing what he's doing. I think Jake won the draft. We'll see if they are the best team overall. But after this game, it's clear that, the story I wouldn't say steamroll the breakdown, right? Like that's not what it is. But they didn't have to go to a very solid structure and redefine it constantly throughout the game to kind of cover the holes. It felt like they were just running through the breakdowns, and the breakdowns were breaking down, right? And if we look at the stats, and I know that it might be tough to look at, I'm sorry, something to learn for next time. There's not a lot to glean from this. And I think that was something I saw surprising, especially looking at the game 1, where the stats told the story. I think here we can look at some stats that will tell us what's going on, but the gameplay is really what should be focused. So stay tuned for that, but let's look at some quick stats. So here we have player, attempt, score, and then the rate of them scoring. So as you can see, every single member on this team scored once, except for number 5, which is their 4th round pick, Rob Scirocco. And he scored 4 out of 6 times, 2 out of 3. That is extremely good. I think it's one of the highest that I've seen so far. Everyone else scored once, and they only attempt 5 or 4, so it's not that crazy of an amount. But then we look at Jimmy, who have tried twice as much as number 5, and he only scored once. And I'm not going to put the blame on him, right? Like this could be game plan, this could be strategy, whatever, and the shots aren't there, like whatever it is. But this is an issue, and this is an issue. The fact that you have 12 and he has 6, right? Because if you just double his score, it's a completely different game, right? Like just magically 12, 8, crushing, right? Now, obviously that would never happen, but that's kind of first big thing to glean. The second thing I wanted to glean is actually why the story is so freaking weird. Because, you look at 25, only 5 attempts. Same thing with 42, only 5 attempts, both going 2 goals. Number 99, they kind of defaulted him in a tough spot, and he scored twice, right? So, he's the weird case in my example. I think he's the weird case where he's just kind of the bailout guy. You don't use him a lot. You use him in weird scenarios, and you hope he scores. And he did. He scored twice, and I can't wait to see more of the future games to see how he does. Because he could possibly be a sleeper pick in this draft just because he throws super freaking hard. And it's hard to judge. But, obviously the 2nd overall pick, 12 attempts, 6 goals. We come over, like this definitely could be their number 5, right? Like realistically, that's probably what is more realistically going to happen. So everyone on their team just scoring 1 extra goal goes such a long ways. And I think that's what the blue team really needs to work on is, you're getting the same amount of attempts. Well, let me just show that, right? The blue team is getting essentially the same amount of attempts as the green team, but they're just not converting, right? And I think that really tells the story. I think Jimmy has constantly said, like, they have so many turnovers than everyone else. Like, it's something I constantly have heard. But when I go over and look at turnovers, like, we have 6 on green, and then we have, 9? Like 6 to 9. Like, it's really not that bad. He needs to realize that it's the game plan is the issue. It's not stats. It's like looking at the stats. It shows that, yeah, you could say that, oh, we're turning over and we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. No, in reality, your game plan is flawed and your guys aren't playing good, and that's why you're turning over, right? Is you're being pushed in a lot of these awful situations. And here's kind of how I would show that, is you're passing 76 times. The green team is only at 58. Like, they're scoring more than you and they're passing less, right? So they have a more efficient game plan, and I don't even think it's that. I think it's literally just them being confident in these little maneuvers, and I think maybe blue team is just a little bit too micro adjust, micro move kind of thing. Even this, almost the same amount of saves, even one more save, right? And just 3 more turnovers, right? Even if those 3 turnovers become points, you're still down, what, a couple of points? Like, it was at 7-12, right? So if those 3 go in, it's 10-12. You're still down by 2, and you saved 1 extra time. So if you equalize that, then it's 10-13. Like, come on. And these assist numbers are so low. And so there's a clear way to improve, is that your gameplay assistance is not good. I think that's the blue team's problem. I think green, I can't say anything just looking by the stats and looking at the game. It's like, you guys were able to find the openings and shoot it as individuals. You didn't really need to use each other that much. And so that's my cup of tea. Let's talk about the actual game, right? So here's the board that I'm using, okay? Hope you like it. So here's kind of the blue team's formation. I call it the hive, right? It's not exactly what it is, and it fluctuates as the game is played. Obviously, I know, right? But they elected to have the goalie stand back, and then they have the 3 up here. Now, I call it the hive because Jimmy isn't really what I would call like the center. Not like Zoe, not like Jolly, right? No, they all kind of move around a little bit. Like, he holds the ball a lot, but he's not really the setter, right? I think he's just comfortable. He has ideas and he moves around. I think everyone kind of takes turns in trying to get some ideas. I saw Joe being a little interactive there and trying to do stuff. And I think that's our first issue, is that, 2 people should be focused on attack. 1 person should be trying to set things up, right? I think you should just simplify it. But let's get into the nitty gritty. Here's what's the freaking problem, man. Like, literally, this happened in the game, and it made me so mad seeing this, because as soon as this happens, and I think this happens in any sport, if this happens and you have the ball and you're sitting here in this position, you don't know, there's an issue. Like, you go with your team, you sit down, you draw it on the drawing board, and you just ask yourself, like, why do we get into this situation, right? Like, how did we get in this situation? And I think the simple explanation to that is Joe. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay, I forgot. Sorry, I'm blanking on the name. 54 was like, hey, I'm a guard. Let me try to score this goal, right? Like, that's my goal. And then Jimmy, number 14, ran in here and said, ooh, let's try to do something fancy, right? Let's make a play on this side. And number 5 saw 2 over here, and he said, hey, let me try to get this slot here, right? And so they're all trying to barrel down on these guys. But the problem is that 42 guards a goal, 2 guards the hallway entrance, or guards the hallway hole, and then 25 guards the corner of this triangle hole, right? So to get any kind of open shot, you're going to have to rotate. The problem is, the minute you rotate, 25 follows. So you have to actually reset to get 2 in a bad position. So if anything, you need 54 to go in the hallway, 5 to come up top, 14 throws to 5, throws to 54 on the other side of this hallway, goal, right? Easy money, right? Super easy. Just do, bam. Like, that's the right play. But instead, it's just, let me try to throw through all this crowd, right? And it's not a bad idea, but it's just desperate. And I think 7 and 99 are just out of this whole play in general. And so the fact that they didn't think we need to move is an issue, right? And that just goes that they probably find an idea, or they think, let's go do it, and they barrel down on that idea. And it's not good, right? You just need to be like, hey, this is open, and you just play, right? They need to not necessarily use the boxes more, but threaten it more. Because the thing, they know they're going to try to slap it. So they're able to run this tight formation and then keep 99 out on the throw, right? Bring the party. Make it lethal, right? And to kind of end this video, here's sort of how the green team plays. They keep 99 back as a permanent like chuck weapon. 42 just does whatever you want, and then 2 and 25 really just operated on a different scale than everyone else, right? They're working plays, but really it's just number 2, just kind of throwing the ball away, getting to a spot, and then just doing magic. Game 2 is really interesting. Can't wait until games 3 and 4 where they trade opponents. We'll see what happens. Tune in for more. See you later.